I'm out here with Captain William Mayhem. I'm going to ask him a few questions about his St. Augustine experiences and find out some of his favorite things here in town. I'm here in beautiful St. Augustine, the oldest city in the country, a true melting pot of culture and traditions. Still to this day, this town is filled with local reenactors and visitors alike who bring the culture and history of the city to life every day. Captain, how long have you been here in St. Augustine?
Well, let's see. This time I've been in St. Augustine since January of 2007. But the big secret is I'm a native. I was born and raised here in St. Augustine. But I left when I was a little boy because my stepfather was in the military and we traveled around. We came back every summer to enjoy St. Augustine's history back in the days when all of this wasn't as popular. Lived out on the beach, 4th Street. But then I came back to live here because I wanted to come home to see my family in 2007. I have traveled around the world. I've lived in 13, 15, 17 countries, somewhere in there. And it wasn't always a pirate character. I was and still am a magician, professional magician, comedian, and a speaker and storyteller. And when I came home, just falling into this pirate character was a natural. And now, that's all anybody knows me as a pirate. It's been a good thing.
And you lead a pirate crew here, and I know that you're recruiting some new members.
We had 45 members. We just inducted 9 more into the crew. It is called the St. Augustine Swashbucklers, and they help me with all the charity events that we've been doing. I've had control of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers since about 2009. It was originally started by a man named Joe Osteen, who has passed away over the last 5 years or so, and he had control of it from 2003 to 2009, but he wanted it to be bigger than he thought it was going to be, and so he handed the reins over to me. When he ran it, it was just a dinner club for his friends to dress up and go watch movies and eat dinner in St. Augustine, because what's natural than seeing pirates in St. Augustine? But he wanted it to be bigger, and he thought I could do that. And we took it to all kinds of different levels, and we do a lot of charity for St. Augustine Youth Services, Investing in Kids, Inc., and the Humane Society. Those are our 3 main ones that we're very passionate about.
Pirates doing good.
Oh, yeah. It's much different than what you see from Jack Sparrow. Excuse me a minute. Jack Sparrow says, "Take what you can, give nothing back." Hey, that's not us. Us pirates, we take all we can and then we spread it around and share it. It's a good thing.
Sharing the wealth. What's your favorite thing about living here in St. Augustine?
The history. The fact that so many people, when they come here, they just don't realize that American history is almost 100 years older than Jamestown and Plymouth Rock. And the surprise on their face when they learn that is enjoyable, because you get to tell them things that they don't understand or never knew. Because we are rich in history. And yes, we're rich in pirate history too.
What's your favorite free thing to do here in St. Augustine?
Walking down St. George Street dressed as a pirate. Now, St. George Street is, barely a mile long? But if I start at one end of the street and walk the other end of the street, it can take me as much as 30 minutes to get one end to the other, because everybody wants to take a picture of a pirate. But that's a good free one right there. That's
part of creating an experience for visitors. It's not just a tourist town to come to. They're going to have an experience here.
They are, because it's not just touristy things. It's our restaurants and our bars. They're all a bit part and parcel to what St. Augustine really is. None of the bars and restaurants here are chains. They're individuals, and they all have their own unique flavor, and that's the best part about St. Augustine, is we're filled with unique flavors from many different experiences of people that have come here to set up shop, and they're all mom and pops. Some of them have grown a little bit larger, but they still haven't lost that savoir-faire, what makes them really good. But everyone has their own little bit and piece of what makes them unique, and the uniqueness means that you could walk down this street, you could have breakfast in one place, lunch in another, and dinner in another, and never leave the city, and never have something that is the same the next day. But it is just a unique experience, and that's what these people up and down St. George Street give you, is an experience. And that's what it should be.
Absolutely. And we're recording this on National Tequila Day. So I have some buddies that did a podcast today, and they brought in an $11,000 bottle of tequila.
Did they
and got
really?
to sample that on their podcast. Now, speaking of podcasts, I know that you have one as well that's on YouTube. Tell us a little bit about that.
We have what's called the Captain's Quarters podcast. It airs live every Monday night at 8 o'clock our time. And it runs for about an hour. Sometimes if the guests are really good, we run more. Then as soon as the show ends, it downloads to our YouTube channel, which is Captain's Quarters Podcast on YouTube. We have bits and pieces of history. We have a guest. Our guests range from other professional magicians that I know or have worked with, musicians. So every week is a different piece of history, not just of St. Augustine, but of the United States and of the world. So everything has a purpose for us, and it's a lot of fun, and it's always history, because history is so important to everything we do.
If we don't learn from it, we're destined to repeat it.
Absolutely. We don't want to repeat it. We just want to learn from it. And that's what I try to tell everybody. Those things in the past, they're not great things, sometimes not things to be proud of, but things to learn from. We can't go back and change it. We can't go back and apologize for it, but we can learn from it, and from this point forward, improve ourselves and make sure that those things don't happen again, or make sure that the things that were good, we expand upon and make even better. That's what history's all about. I laughingly, jokingly say St. Augustine's one of the only places in the world that I can wander through the city with a real sword, real pistol, real knives, real weapons. Old world, of course, nothing modern, and nobody questions it. It's natural to people here. We have reenactors here in the town that on a regular basis they do what they call a saunter. And they're some of the reenactors that represent so many of the different periods of St. Augustine's history. And it's not just pirates. We've got all kinds of people here that know the history of St. Augustine and love to wander up and down the street and share that knowledge with tourists. That's a good thing.
Check out our recent tour of the Pirate and Treasure Museum. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the second half of our interview with Captain Mayhem.